cinema matinee. I ain't got $7.50 to pay.
Everybody now.
Yeah, hurry up and get his ass to the Greek, because I'm tired of watching this Jonah Hill, who plays a young executive, Aaron Green, for Sean Puffy Combs, who plays Sergio.
Yeah, you got Sean Puffy, you got P. Diddy, a record producer, playing a record producer.
I wonder if he got to choose his own name as far as his character, Sergio. I can see that next week on the headlines. Puffy is now Sergio.
Well, it'd be Sergio, but spelled with a P.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Plus Sergio.
Yeah, he's in there talking about music industry dead. We got to do something. Somebody give me some ideas. And so Aaron Green, Jonah Hill, he's like, hey, you know this guy Aldous Snow, one of the biggest rock stars of all time.
Aldous Snow.
It sounds like a goddamn wizard's name right there. He should be hanging out. Get him to Hogwarts Castle.
he's the guy you get your butterbeer from.
We can get him on his comeback tour. Then, hey, everything will be good for the studio. Pick his ass up in London, bring him back to New York, and then take him over to L.A. to get him to the Greek Theater. Of course, the catch is that the guy is a relapsed drug addict and wants to everything in sight.
Wants to drink everything, wants to do everything.
Yeah. Wants to shoot it up.
I mean,
if he can't shoot it or snort it, he wants to
I know everybody thinks Russell Brand is hot, but Russell Brand looks like a goddamn scruffy dog to me.
Yeah, I don't get the whole thing, Russell Brand being hot.
Hey, at least they're finally portraying the rock and roller the way they should.
I mean, let's be fair. Aldous Snow, they're playing him like the kind of rock stars of the Led Zeppelin days.
Yeah.
I mean, now we live in the days of pirated music where rock stars don't make that much money and they can't afford to be colossal assholes like this. It's like you will get dropped.
Well, don't worry, because they obviously let you know that this world they're living is pure fantasy based on the song titles and, you know, the albums that this guy has made.
I mean, this suffers from a lot of the same problem I thought that Forgetting Sarah Marshall did. Is that
And this movie is a spinoff of Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yes.
And I got to point out that while I haven't seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Jonah Hill is in that movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
playing a different character.
And he plays a completely different character.
Yes.
Except nobody acknowledges at all that Jonah Hill is a different person.
And in this movie, and in Sarah Marshall, it's very immature in its way of thinking, the way humans react. And you can't attach yourself to Jonah Hill because he's in too many situations where you would go, I would never do that. It just feels, this movie feels just so completely random. What's a real funny, potty, just raunchy joke we can throw in here to make people laugh?
I have to sneeze.
What?
I have to sneeze, but I'm terrified that my bowels will evacuate if I do.
If you sneeze, it is very important that you clench at the same time.
Whether they be road movies or movies where people just have a wild, crazy night, weekend, or whatever, I think the best things that work where you have random situations is that those situations connect to each other somehow.
Yes.
They come back to some point. In here, there are so many scenes where they go out and Russell Brand is like, let's get crazy. Let's have a wild night. And that's all it is. It doesn't really come back. It's just to show us like, oh, this is a wild rock star.
It runs into the same cliche that a lot of these comedies end up making. You know, it's time for us to wrap this shit up. So we're going to have them come to a realization that, oh, man, you know, maybe I am a dick. And all of a sudden, everyone it becomes a hug fest, and you're like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not buying this.
All of a sudden, he realizes my girlfriend, who's played by Rose Byrne in the movie, he's like, oh, I realize she's the true love of my life. And it's like, I never saw this at all.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Puff Daddy, he was like the only character I thought was funny in this whole movie.
You know what? I thought he was funny for the good part of it.
They
The latter
overused
part,
him for sure.
I really got sick of him.
I mean, you know what? I was starting to get sick of him, and then he got hit by a car. But I got way more laughs talking about this movie with you guys than I ever did watching it. Yeah. And for something that's forgettable like this, it's a rental that's teetering on some old bullshit.
They do some things so wild that in the middle here and there, you find something to get a good chuckle from, a good laugh. But it's like a real just middle indifferent rental for me.
I even forgot that I saw a movie that day. Honestly. So I was thinking, as soon as I walked out, I was like, oh, it's a pretty good matinee. You know? But when I think about it, no, it's a better rental.
The whole thing of Jonah Hill stuffing the heroin up his ass.
I need you to put this into...
No, what are you doing? We're in the middle of the airport. If he wants you to put the candy in the jar, you put the candy in the jar.
Oh.
See, that's what I'm talking about, where you don't relate. And he just does it. He doesn't go to a bathroom and do it.
No.
He just does it out in front in the middle of the airport.
Yeah. As soon as one finger went up his ass, you know, it's like the airport security would be on him.
Yeah, I mean, he could. I mean, the windows are pretty apparent. I'm sure people even below downstairs can see what he's doing.
At this point, you might as well just make Russell Brand a terrorist and have him say, you know what? And also stuff this explosive device up your ass too.
Exactly. And then you see him shoot out of and then out into the air like Boba Fett with a jet rocket.